Hi everyone, how's your day going? Top of the day to you. It's afternoon right here where I am in Bermuda. And I promised that I was going to come on live a while back. I think it was last weekend, but we were planning for this trip, so I couldn't do it. Yeah, so I thought I would catch up with everyone. And how are you? Where are you joining in from? Let me know in the comment section. So I decided to come on this live for a couple of reasons. I have two topics to share about. The first topic I want to share about today is to clarify, I see people talking about, somebody sent me a message. Let me start from there. Doctor, I have an opportunity to do an MBA and I have an opportunity to do a PhD. Which one should I go for? And I thought, let me come online here and talk a bit about that topic. Why? Because as an African, especially as a Nigerian, I have seen, the interest in getting a master's degree, especially MBA, just trending among our people. And I want to talk about that a little bit. Why, MBA could be a good thing for you. I also want to say, like, if you are one of those people going back to school and preparing for next fall, I want to tell you that don't just do an MBA. A plain MBA, you have to do an MBA with a specialization that makes sense. I've also seen people on my program who have done an MBA in leadership. You are moving to the US, you're moving to Canada, and then you want to do an MBA in leadership. Leadership is not needed by tech companies. Do you expect them to hire you to come and teach people on leadership? That is not a good MBA. You have to be thinking about, so if it's important to you to do an MBA, you have to have a specialization. And when you want to choose your specialization, you have to choose your specialization based on what is important to that country, what is competitive in that country. You can't just go and do your MBA in government studies. You can't go and do your MBA in leadership. Those areas may not be able to yield good outcome. Or if you just do a plain MBA that gives you a bit of everything, that also may not yield a good outcome. So I'm saying this because it's critical that you just don't believe I need an MBA and anything they give to me, I'm just going to take. Always begin with an end in mind. The country I'm going into, what are the trendy areas within that country? What are the areas that I can do that when I graduate, I would be able to get a good job that will file papers for me and give me good income? You have to think about that. Don't just take an MBA. And this is going to be a segue into the next topic. And this is going to make me share some personal experience. What I see here is a lot of times people really look for funding. They look for scholarships. Now you have gotten scholarships. And sometimes you get these scholarships in most ridiculous fields. I've seen people coming abroad to study religious studies. They're coming abroad to study things that you wonder, where are you going to work? Getting funding is not enough. Do not come abroad to study something that is not lucrative or is not going to earn you good money. Now you're stuck doing a PhD for 4 years in a field that is not lucrative within that country. Let me tell you a bit about what happened to me when I came to Canada for my PhD. So I came to Canada for my PhD in biomedical engineering, and I had two focus areas. The first focus area was tissue engineering, specifically cartilage tissue engineering. And then the second focus area was a special type of X-ray, synchrotron X-ray imaging. First year into my program, I had to sit myself down and ask myself, if I finish studying synchrotron X-ray imaging, can I get a job to do that immediately? What I realized is synchrotron X-ray imaging is not something that is ready to go into mainstream Canada or mainstream US. It's not ready. That area it's very innovative, it's very revolutionary, but it wasn't ready. So if I finish just focusing on synchrotron X-ray imaging, I can't get a job. The second area was cartilage tissue engineering. And at that time, I needed to sit myself down and understand that we are not going to start implanting real cartilage into people's knees until another 10 years. The two areas that I have gotten funded for, there are two areas that are not going to become mainstream in 10 years. If I didn't pivot quickly into 3D printing and just say I'm going to do process engineering under 3D printing as a little major so I can get a job, I will graduate with a PhD and I will not get a job because the two areas were not going mainstream. The question to you is, as you look for funding, are you considering what exactly am I coming here to study? How lucrative is that field in the country that I'm going into? I need to tell you this. 70% of the people I did my PhD with, they don't have a job today. I'm telling you that wholeheartedly because I know that for a fact. The people I went to school with, that we all study, the things I studied, they're doing postdoc. Why? Because all the work we study for that PhD, they're not ready to be commercialized and become a product. So they are still pursuing postdoc, being paid $40,000, $50,000 a year. I give myself brain on time to realize that, if I don't want to stay in research forever and making peanuts, I need to pivot into something else right away. You're a PhD student, you're doing PhD, you're doing a master's, you should be talking to me, you should be talking to a career coach to help you check what you're doing your research on. Is there a pathway to making money when you graduate? Or is going to be in research for another 10 years or another 15 years so you graduate and not get a job? Because if I didn't really think about my life earlier in grad school, I would have just finished, be doing postdoc, 5 years later, be making $40,000 a year. I'm saying this because it's very important that we begin with an end in mind. If you're going to come and get an MBA, make sure it's a lucrative field. If you're going to come abroad for anything, even if they give you funding, I know you are celebrating, that funding may be a trap. So we need to make sure that you understand, all right, I'm coming here with a funding, the area I am working on, how lucrative is that? Is that going to get me a job? I don't want you to go and spend 4 years suffering in an area that when you finish, you can't actually get a job. I don't want you to go and do a research for 2 years, and after you are done with that 2 years research, you actually can't get a job because the area you research is not lucrative. Kobo is not lucrative. You're hearing this because it's important that we talk about it. I have seen people come abroad, do a Ph.D, postgraduate certificate in a very lucrative area. They do a 1-year postgraduate certificate program and they finish and they land their 6-figure job straight up, boom, first month of graduating. And I have seen people come abroad and get a PhD and 6 years later, they still don't have a job. They have a title, they have a certificate, they don't have a job. Why am I saying this? A PhD may not be the way out for you. Just a postgraduate certificate may be enough for you if you do it in the right area and get the right skills and you nail it down. You may graduate and boom, there you go, 6 figures. It is not about having a doctor title behind your name. It is not about having a master's degree. It is about doing the right program. It's about investing in the right things that are important to the country you are migrating to. I have seen people, people say you're always talking about public health folks and stuff like that. Let's talk about public health a little bit too for a while. Public health, when you finish in public health, if you don't have a specialization, there's a very high chance that you're going to have to work for the government. Government in most countries do not file papers for you. So if you're coming to the US, you're going to Canada, you're going to the UK, and you have studied public health, do you think government will file papers for you? Absolutely not. So as you're entering into public health, you should be talking to professionals who will actually help you understand. Don't do just general public health. Just the same way I tell you, don't do general MBA. You have to do some sort of MBA or public health that you can use to go into the right industry. Because I've talked to people who say, my dream job is to work for United Nations. My dream job is to work for who? Who will never file paper for anybody? United Nations will never file papers for anybody. And they don't pay well. And then that is where your public health program management is going to hand you in. Oh, I'm interested in community development. Yeah, that's the kind of job you're going to get. And that's if you get that job. And that job will not give you good money. And that job will not file papers for you. All right. So again, anything we're doing, whether we're going back to school, whether we're currently studying, we have to begin with the end in mind. It's very critical. If I didn't sit down in the middle of my first year to think about, hey, am I on the right path with this biomedical stuff? Oh, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be this Dr. Hadi that you know. I would be that Dr. Hadi who is working with a lab as a postdoc earning $40,000. So for that reason, I can't make noise online. I'm just in my corner and humble. But because I was able to find out early, I was able to pivot into something else, still doing that PhD, but pivoted into something else that could give me a lucrative career after I finished the PhD. You also have to hear this final word. That professor who brought you to that school, He brought you to that school, and let me tell you, sometimes he may not have your best interest at heart. He brought you to that school to produce papers that will help him advance his career. So you can't just sit down and say, my professor loves me. He said I should do that. Though your professor works in the industry, your professor does not work in the industry. So you need to be talking to a career coach who works in the industry. You think your professor is your father? He's not your father. Your father is in Nigeria. Is not your father. So you need to sit down and be thinking for yourself, what am I supposed to do to get my whole career going? Because your professor is getting his career going by bringing you to that country to work and publish paper that will have him as the principal investigator. He is building a career. Yeah. So somebody's saying here, the UN pays here decently. Tell us what decent means so that we can tell you what we earn in tech. Because, when you people open your mouth and say, it pays decently. I've seen people talk about decently meaning 65,000, 75,000. No, that is not decent. If you live in Toronto, Canada, you will know that is not decent. That is not decent in any way. We are talking, I told people to share what they have gained this year. And you see people saying they were making $400,000 this year. You see people saying they're making $290,000 this year. Can UN pay you that? The UN cannot pay you that. So if I'm talking, you don't respond on things you don't know. They will not pay you that. And we have not come to this country to come and carry last. We didn't come abroad to come and carry last or stay in the back or be making 90,000, be making 70,000. That is not why we left Nigeria. There is good weather in Nigeria. There are our parents to help us take care of our children in Nigeria. There is family. There is better stuff there. We left all of that to come abroad. You want us to come and make 60,000 and work for UN? No, we have not come here to make that. We have come here to sit in $500,000, $1 million bracket. That is why we are here. Why am I doing this? Because next year, I want you to be able to come with me. If I say, go and Google where I am, I mean Bermuda. This is one of the most expensive vacation anybody can go to. Next year, I want you to be able to do that. I want you to be able to do that. So I will be here making noise about how I want you to be better, how I want you to make better money, how I want you to get up and go, how I don't want you to make that mistakes so that you don't put yourself in a humble box because you didn't get the right information on time. Then you finish that program and somebody say, just manage the 70,000 job where you could have gotten the right information in the beginning. Again, sometimes a PhD is not necessary. Sometimes a postgraduate diploma can be the way out that you need. Sometimes an MBA is necessary. And yes, when you do that MBA, make sure it is specialized in an area that is lucrative in the country you are moving to. If you're doing that public health, make sure it is specialized in that country that you're moving to. All right, I've just come in here today to share those two topics because they are highly connected. Because we have Thanksgiving coming, we have opened up 20% discount on our mentorship program. We will post that flyer today. The 20% discount is going to be available from today until Sunday. Grab your seat. Let's us, 2020, we did well. 2021, we did even better. Share, we bought all this house. You think it's play, Abi? You think that they are stealing the money? No, we are making the money. Let us make you make the money. Let us help you make that money so that you too can share your inspiring story and inspire another 5,000 people and inspire another 50,000 people because Africans need to know that they too can. And I know you can. Get on this program with us. My sister will post the flyer, maybe at the end of the day today. You need somebody to talk to. You need your next year to be better. You need to get on that mentorship program. Let me gas you up. Let me help you with the little knowledge that I have gathered from 5 countries that I have lived in. And let's together take over the world and show them what Africans can do. Have a wonderful day. Greetings again from Bermuda. Enjoy the rest of your time. Bye.